Hello, my name is Samantha McDougall. I'm currently completing a Bachelor of Exercise and Sports Science at the University of New England. I'm completing this presentation as part of my assignment for Exercise 335 Motor Control and Human Development, which is coordinated by Dr. Dominic McNeil. The topic of my presentation is based upon a laboratory activity relating to speed-accuracy trade-off. In many motor control tasks, such as sporting situations, there is a need for a balance between speed and accuracy to perform successfully. This is known as speed-accuracy trade-off. For example, when a soccer player goes to take a penalty, the player needs to take into account that if they focus on the speed, they might miss the goals. But if they only focus on the accuracy, they might not get the ball past the goalkeeper. Only when the player has the correct balance of both speed and accuracy will the player be able to score. Not only is the player balancing speed and accuracy, they are also balancing the level of feedback to plan the movement, whether it is open or closed-loop controlled. Closed-loop controlled is when feedback is used to detect or correct errors that may occur in the movement planning, whereas open-loop control doesn't use feedback. So returning back to my soccer player example, if the player performs the kick too quickly, there is not enough time to correct any errors within the movement plan. But if the player takes their time and performs the kick more accurately, then the player has time to correct any errors that may occur within the movement plan and is more likely to score. Speed accuracy is such an important aspect of motor control, so important in fact that there is a law to describe it, known as Fitts' Law. Fitts' Law was published by Paul Fitt in 1954. Fitts proposed a mathematical equation that calculates the index of difficulty of a task. This equation was determined by Fitts' tapping task demonstrated in the animation. Fitts' tapping task is when a participant taps a pen or a pencil between two objects with the same width for a short period of time. It has become one of the most important findings to do with motor control and has even insisted in the creation of such items as keypads and keyboards to help improve the efficiency of typing. When performing a task such as a penalty kick, or typing on a keyboard, it is important to know how and why we make the decisions that we make. And to understand this importance, we examine the motor control theories that contribute to speed and accuracy during performance. These theories include motor programming theory and the dynamic systems theory. Motor programming theory refers to the central control center stored in the memory that decides the action, plans the action, and sends that action to be performed by a lower control center, which is better suited when examining a task performed quickly, as it is an open-loop controlled. Whereas the dynamic system theory is not based off a central control center, but occurs naturally in a more complex system that involves the individual and the environment. This is better suited to examining a task performed more accurately, as it uses the closed-loop control. During this presentation, I will be examining two different tasks that both require speed and accuracy to determine whether speed-accuracy trade-off occurs. These tasks are assembling task and a target aiming task. To determine whether speed-accuracy trade-off occurs within a target aiming and assembling task, 20 exercise and sports science students, male and female, were divided into two groups made up of 5 pairs. Group 1 performed the target aiming task. Group 2 performed the assembly task. Once the participants completed their assigned tasks, they switched and completed the other task. The target aiming task requires a target, ball, stopwatch, pen, and score and timesheet. The target within this study was created using pieces of A4 paper, 8 pieces of paper being a different color. The large target size uses all 25 pieces. The medium size uses 9, 8 of which being a different color, and the small uses 1. This is demonstrated in the image. Participant 1 is to complete a series of 10 trials of underarm throws with preferred hand at 3 different target sizes at a distance of 3 meters from the target. If participant 1 hits the target, they get a score of 1. If they miss, 0. This activity is demonstrated in the animation below. While participant 1 is throwing, participant 2 times the time from when the participant releases the ball until the ball hits the target, and writes the time and the score down on the score and time sheet. The participant then swaps, so participant 2 is now throwing and participant 1 is now timing. The aim of this task is to get the highest score as possible. The assembly task requires a stopwatch, score sheet, pencil, and Purdue pegboard, which is demonstrated in the image. Participant 1 is to place as many pegs in the holes within 30 seconds as possible. This was to be done left to right, top to bottom, and only move one pin at a time. This is demonstrated in the animation below. Participant 1 is to perform this task with their preferred hand, non-preferred hand, and both hands. This is to be done over a series of 3 trials. Participant 2 is to time and let the participant 1 know when the 30 seconds is up. Participant 2 also have to record the number of pins participant 1 got within the 30 seconds on the score sheet. All 20 students then use a calculator, had to calculate their individual means of their performance time for the target aiming task, which was to be done and converted into milliseconds, and the score for both of the target aiming task and assembly task. The mean results from all students is then placed into an Excel sheet to calculate the total mean of the group for each task. The results from the target aiming task are displayed in the table. To gain a better understanding of what these results mean and how they relate to speed accuracy trade-off, I have created a column graph for both score and time. When examining the score graph, we can clearly see that as the time increases, so does the score, whereas in the time graph, as the target size increases, the time decreases. For instance, let's just focus on the small and large target size for both graphs. It has taken more time to hit the small target compared to the large target. The large target has also achieved a higher score than the small target. This clearly highlights that speed accuracy trade-off has occurred, because as the participant aims for a more complex target, the small target, their focus was to be accurate, and as a consequence took longer to complete the task, whereas the large target size was not as complex, therefore requiring less focus on accuracy and more focus on time, making it easier to obtain a higher score quickly. The results from the assembling task are displayed in the table. These results have also been placed into a column graph to establish whether speed accuracy trade-off has occurred. When examining the column graph, we can clearly see that as the task becomes more complex, the score decreases. For instance, when comparing both hand results to the non-preferred hand results, it clearly shows that both hands place in more pins than the non-preferred hands within 30 seconds. This demonstrates that speed accuracy trade-off has occurred. As the participant's complexity of the task increases, the participant is focusing on accuracy, causing them to get less pins in, whereas when the task is not as complex, the participant could place more pins in. The primary focus of this presentation was to examine if speed accuracy trade-off occurs in both assembling tasks and target aiming tasks. The main analysis displayed that speed accuracy trade-off did occur in both tasks. The results from the target aiming task and the assembling task demonstrated focusing on accuracy took a longer time, whereas when focusing on speed, the performance was less accurate. The results from the target aiming task are similar to those of previous studies to do with motor control and underarm throws, one of which being Mard Hazelsan's Van Aysens and Mard Evans' 2010 study, Optimal Strategies for Throwing Accurately, which used mathematical equations to analyze different types of underarm and overarm throwing. They looked at a range of factors including speed and accuracy. Their results for an underarm throw discovered that slower underarm throws are more likely to be accurate than that compared to fast underarm throws. When comparing the target aiming results to Depay, Moultens, and Ropel's 2000 study, the regulation of release parameters in underarm precision throwing, the results showed that as the distance increased, the average speed of the ball decreased, which is similar to that of the target aiming results. To improve the target aiming task, I would have incorporated a camera to measure the time it took for the ball to reach the target after released, to ensure there were more accurate results. The results from the assembly task are similar to previous studies, such as Francis and Spendenso's 2000 study, Age Differences in Expressive and Manual Asymmetry. It uses 5 motor tasks, including the pegboard task, and compares the results of older adults to younger adults. When you just focus on the results from the Peugeot pegboard task, it demonstrates that the preferred hand was not only faster but also more accurate than that compared to the non-preferred hand. This result also appeared in Lindstorm's Hazel and Van Sturd's 2015 study examining the Peugeot pegboard test for optimal therapy practice. This was determined by not only examining age but gender as well. To improve the assembly task, I would have done each complexity on a different day, as the results could have been affected by the fact that the participants could memorize the pinhole shape, causing them to become more accurate without overall task. So that concludes my presentation. I hope you now have an understanding of speed-accuracy trade-off and how it not only relates to target aiming tasks and assembling tasks, but also tasks that require both speed and accuracy. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.